Okay. How'd we do? Are we happy with what just happened there? I don't know. Can you see? I'm all streamless. Okay, in the meantime, I'll just write some code here while people rejoin. Oh, I don't have Lombok in here, do I? No, I do have Lombok. Sneaky throws. Way more legible? Oh, good. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. So it's better, right? Y'all can see, because I'm just looking at my stream on the, well, first of all, I'm looking at two different, I'm using the picture, next, I've got Twitch and YouTube on my iPad on two different apps, each taking half of my iPad, so it's a small iPad screen, and then it's divided by two, so I can't see what's being shown anyway. All right, well, thanks for suffering through that, friends. I'm glad we figured it out. Let's see here. Lombok. I want the implementation, do I? Implement. Goody. Wait, so actually if I go to start.spring.io, Lombok, annotation processor, compile only, and annotation processor. Okay, so that's what I want. Okay, good. Refresh. And then my friend Sneaky Throws. Honestly, Sneaky Throws is one of my all-time favorite annotations. Yeah, OBS and streaming setups do need a PHP, and I'm life is hard enough. I have expense reports to file. I don't care enough to get deep into this, but with your help, friends, we're gonna get it done. So I appreciate that. Just implementation. Surely that's okay, right? Why does that matter? Okay, so new URL. Okay. And this is HTTP, this is HTTP, and then we'll just say URL. Fantastic. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to make sure that if I make a call to that endpoint, I can get a subscription. I don't even know what I'm expecting to happen when I do that though, so let's just try it, I guess. Subscribe. So what's the topic URL? Topic URL equals URL, and we said it's this one over here. Okay, and the callback URL, var callback URL equals URL https coffeesoftware.com. It's api.coffeesoftware.com/refresh. Callback URL. Verify is async. The lease. So Sneaky Throws swallows checked exceptions. So that, for example, if I create a URL that throws it has a checked exception that I have to either try catch or I have to declare in the method. Neither of which I want to do. It just adds noise to my code for no reason. So without that, this doesn't compile, right? Unhandled exception, Java.net malformed exception. If you add that, it fixes it, right? So it just makes it like a sane language. It just so much better. Private, static, whatever. Good. Okay, so what else do we have? Lease seconds. Let's say 60 seconds. I don't know, 10 seconds. Sure. And then verify token, I have nothing. I don't want to verify right now. So var result. And, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to expect here, but result, and then next, new consumer, Okay, so got, I guess we want log for j or SLF for j or something. Yeah, it is so convenient. It's such a great, like, I know people make fun of Lombok. Me too, right? Like, we all do, but it's so useful sometimes. New message. And honestly, you know, like, it burns away at compile time, so it's not like you're forced to live with the dependency in your you know, your transitive code or whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's just. I'm kind of scared. What if this blows up for some weird, mysterious, unknowable reason? I just want it to work. How much you want to bet it's not going to work? I got a anxiety about this because this Google Cloud PubSub stuff is, like, conceptually I get it. It's just so slow. Oh, okay. Compiler is unhappy. What? Why? What do you mean you're unhappy? Cannot find symbol log. Oh, I screwed up the Lombok stuff, didn't I? Annotation processor. Can I not win? Wait a minute. So, what do I got here? I've got these two dependencies, these two things here, and I've got that extends from. So, compile only extends from annotation processor. Great. And then I've got these two dependencies. So implementation, sorry, compile only and this. Restart. Yeah, the loggers are, you know, I don't know. I don't even know I just use SLF for J because it's like extensible as can be, but yeah, use whatever you want. I don't care. I mean, I have very few hills on which I'm prepared to die, and loggers is definitely not one of them. I have no strong opinions. I just know that I make people, every time I use log for J2, people wince, you know, like, you did that. And I was like, okay, don't worry, it's fine. They fixed the patch. They patched the issue, you know. But also, I think I talked to you, I think I talked about this on stream the other day. Have you seen the injection point thing? That is such a cool piece of technology, right? So imagine this, right? You've got a scope dot generic application context scope or whatever. Let's just call it prototype, right? Prototype and then log. So let's say I want to use SLF for J, right? So logger. I can inject something called an injection point, right? And here I say log factory dot get logger injection point dot get declaring type dot get name, right? And so now I've got a logger. So let's go ahead and create some things that use it. A private final logger, right? So I'm going to just inject this into the constructor. It'll just be a Spring Bean with a regular constructor, but I'm going to inject the logger in the constructor instead of defining it directly. Class B private final logger. So at component required args constructor, right? And then just define, and then I just want to use, I mean, like, let's do something with them, right? So they'll be injected in the constructor. I'll create a callback. So implement initializing bean. Okay. Logger dot info. Hello. Right. So you get the idea, right? I'm just creating two beans that have some reason to log. Here we go. Okay, and that should do it. Let's go ahead and run this main code first. Oh, actually, first things first, friends, I need to restart this IntelliJ because I've got a variable in the shell that I need to have in my IDE. So let's close it out. Okay. And cd desktop YouTube API idea build.gradle. No! Ah. Come on. Give me back my ID. Close, exit. Now it's unhappy with me. I don't blame it, but still, it's unhappy. Here we go. rmrf dot idea build dot gradle. Okay. Okay, so let's try this again. This time with more gusto. Yay. Okay, did it work? So, hello, do we see hello in there somewhere? Maybe? There you go. Oh, that's the declaring class. No, that's not the right one. So I need to, it's got the wrong value there. What is the right one? Get how do I get the get member? Is that the field? No, that can't be right either. Get field, get member. Method parameter containing class. Yeah, that looks right. That looks better. So let's try that. I don't know if that'll work, but of course that doesn't work if you're not doing method injection, right? So there you go. Look at that. Hello, hello, right? A and B. So like if you're doing method injection as we are here, or in the constructor, I suspect that would probably work as well. So like. But yeah, anyway, you get the idea, right? It's super useful, and that requires no lumbuck, but it does require Spring. So like for everything, right? If you're trying to use this, you can't just inject a logger into like a public static utility class unless you have Spring managing that class, right? So I'm not sure which the lesser of two evils, this or lumbuck, but there is a way to do it without lumbuck, you know. Okay. So moving on, I'm using lumbuck. You can tell why, right? Because it just works. Goodbye to all this. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so good stuff. Good job, everybody. We wrote code together. Do I need this field? I guess not. Hub URL. No, I do need that. Why don't I need that? Why wouldn't I need that? So am I not setting it? Where's my test? Oh, I've okay. This lumbuck stuff is just, it's weird in Gradle, and Maven is just, I've never had these issues, so I'll figure it out one day. But let's move on. So throwable t logs private logger. Okay. Okay. When do I use Kotlin versus when do I use Java? You know, yeah, that's a good question. Cannot be referenced. Yeah, of course it can't. there's no bad time to use Kotlin. There was a bad time, which was for the last 3 years, we've been working on the AOT GraalVM native image support for Spring Boot and Spring Framework, right? And so during that time, I didn't want to make things any more complicated than they already were, and so I used Java just so I could, because when you're working on the GraalVM stuff, they're laid dragons, right? I mean, just you wouldn't believe how much we had to do to make that stuff just work, right? It works now, but if you couldn't trust what types were being compiled, you couldn't trust how it was going to run at runtime. So there's no reason to not use Kotlin now, especially for me, especially. But the only reason I was hesitant was because we were doing crazy stuff that was not, it was just sorcery, right? And so as a result, there was a risk for errors that I didn't want to incur in my daily life. So really, this could have been Kotlin. This would have been just fine in Kotlin. And obviously, I would have been able to skip all this nonsense around checked exceptions getting in the way, and defining variables and all. I mean, a lot of this code would be just that much easier. And then with the reactive stuff, it would be even easier because I'd have a coroutine. So, yeah, arguably I should have been using Kotlin for this. Heck, I might still, turn around and turn it into a Kotlin application. Who knows? Yeah, I love Kotlin. I love it. I love it. Let's see here though. Let's see. Like this is disgusting. I just hate this. I hate that I have to all that just to do this. And Spring, Spring is pretty great about hiding or removing checked exceptions from your life, right? Like most interfaces, most callback methods, most template methods declare throws exception. So that way, if there's an exception in your logic, the template object will do something useful with it. Usually it'll just throw it up and it'll bubble up to the top of the framework stack. So, but at least then you can sit in a single place. You can handle it. Java has been catching up to Kotlin in some respects, so yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, that's true. But it just hasn't. I don't think it's there yet, right? And conceptually, I don't think it ever can. It's not that Java won't try, but because Java is so much older, and because Kotlin was built with an awareness of the limitations, the fundamental limitations that Java has built in that it couldn't fix even if it wanted to without breaking a lot of code, Kotlin is just ahead in some ways. So here's an example that always gets me, right? Okay, so in in Java, well, obviously let's ignore the var val thing, right? I mean that is to say, in Kotlin you have val for immutable, right? Val number equals 1, val string equals this, whatever, right? You've got that, but ignore that. You can have mutable strings in Kotlin, and you can have immutable, or final, not immutable, but final variables using val, and that's great. So what if I want to do what about in Java? Well, of course I can do this. I can say var num equals 1, right? Semicolon required. Not a big deal, but still a thing. And then var string equals hello. So that right there's no real difference, right? But what if I want to do a lambda? Okay, so remember, up here we're doing Kotlin. Down here we're doing Java. And if I want to do a lambda in Kotlin, I can say my func is a function that takes a string and returns an integer. Okay? And then the name, the lambda looks like this. So I can say name.size, right? So what I'm doing is I'm creating a lambda and I'm assigning it to a variable, and the variable type is a structural lambda, right? And so it's not Java util function, it's just string to int. That's the type. I I don't have to make it conform to any interface anywhere. It just is what it is. And so the type I can define on the right side. And, you know, likewise, if I got rid of this, I could say string, and then that would also work. It would understand it to be a string to int, right? It would, whatever size is. I think that's the right variable, right method. Okay, great. What about Java? Well, Java, var myfunc equals new function of string to integer, right? And then it's, what is it, public void apply, I think, public accept, something like that, whatever. I don't even know because I always use the lambda form. So function, yeah, r apply. So string apply integer apply string input return input dot length, something like that, right? Okay, so I can do that, or I can do function string integer myfunc equals input dot length, right? But I can't have both. I can't. What I want is val on the left, the name, and then the definition, right? And you can't have that. You can't have that with Java. You have to do either a full anonymous class because the type information isn't there, or you have to have the type information and then you can do a lambda. And there is a third form, and believe it or not, this is the one I use all the time just because it sits with my OCD riddled brain a little bit more naturally. Myfunc equals function of string integer, and then it's whatever, input to input dot length, right? And that kind of feels like Kotlin, in Java. This is the Java code, but it's still, I just want this to be a little bit more straightforward. So they can't fix that. There's no way to fix this without breaking either the way we think about lambdas or the way we think about auto, var, type inference. And with Kotlin, they just got it right from the get-go, so they don't have to. They'll never be in the situation. So as a result, if you look at your Java code, it's going to be var, 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 and then function, that kind of stuff. It just really gets weird. Yeah, coroutines and extension functions and reactive APIs are marvelous. I love Kotlin for that. And I love operator overloading. That's the other thing. Operator overloading is amazing. Well, actually, have you all seen Manifold? Manifold is pretty crazy. We should talk about that in a second, but let's just see where we are on this first, because I'm curious. I would like to get this working. Let's just see if we can get it to work. So here's my little test. Ooh, didn't even try. Let's see. Okay. What happened? And why did it happen? Unable to parse URL endpoint fact. Okay, so, is that because I didn't set a URL for the PubSub? Okay, so client, yeah, it's not using the URL. That's right. So that I think we even talked about that earlier, didn't we? This .hubbub URL. Wait, come on, look at that. Why? Why does turning a URL into a URI cause an exception? Okay, to external I do TDD a lot, but here I'm not. I wrote the code for this first, and now we're writing a test, and I'm already regretting everything. Is it just like returning HTTP, like a just 200? Okay, so maybe we don't have that. Maybe we just verify complete. Well, okay. How do I know that worked? Like, I don't even know. That's really weird. Why did it, Hey, Anthony, how are you, man? Good to see you. How do I even know that that is doing something useful? So, subscribe. Okay, so thinking about it. Can I recommend a course on TDD? I don't know if it's talked about in the Spring Academy. Some of it, I don't think it is. No, I think they talk about stuff there. I mean, you can, not a course, but beautiful TDD. Yeah, I've talked about TDD every now and then. Here's a presentation from 2019 that might be useful. Yeah, Uncle Bob is his approach to TDD is kind of interesting. Yeah, Anthony, you might have some ideas, buddy. Old pal, old friend of mine. I think he knows people that do TDD. If he doesn't himself, he might. I don't even know. Okay, so I'm satisfied that worked, but I'm not surprised. I'm not satisfied. I want to delete the subscription first, and then how do we prove that it worked? Like, it's not giving me any response that I didn't want to say where you worked out loud, man. I was just like, I thought maybe you could share what you can. Let's see. Retrieve. Body to bodiless entity? When did that get there? Mono response entity of void. Mono response entity of void. Yes, into the void. Okay, so now what? What about this test? Does that change anything? I've got a response entity. I want to like, this returns a response entity of void. No, this returns a mono response entity of void. Okay. Where does that work? So, okay, let's say I've got this result response entity re dot get status code. value. Expect dot map re. Actually, wait, just do this. Do on next. I'm just trying to like poke at the return value. Okay, that's all I want to do here. Is just to log things out and see what I got and why I got it. Okay. And did I get I mean, I must have gotten some kind of okay value, right? But what did I get? Oh, hey. Fail. So expect next, and then we want to do let's just do next consume next info re dot get status code dot value. Okay, and what about the body? Nope, there's no body, of course. It's bodiless. Thanks for asking. And then what about headers? re.getHeaders dot for key value log.info key value. Okay, take 3. What did it give us, if anything? Looks like that. Alt service, content type, 202. So, okay, it was accepted. And it's going to be, what's the location header? Is there like a location I can check to see? Okay, guess not. Well, how do I know if it was accepted? Like I don't even know how if it's okay, wait, let's try unsubscribing. So okay, so what'll that do? That'll unsubscribe it, and then it'll subscribe. But for how long? Well, for lease in seconds. So var lease in seconds will be, let's say, 120. Okay, and the way I mean, this is kind of fragile, but what we're going to do is we're going to subscribe. We're going to see if we can unsubscribe. Is that true? I want to unsubscribe. Here's my problem. I've already subscribed, right? I use that form manually. And so I know that one works, but it's not really giving me valid feedback about whether I've successfully unsubscribed or subscribed or not. So what I want is to, with this code, subscribe, right? Using Java code, using just the Java code and nothing else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy a version of this app that will take a refresh, it'll take a webhook call at a different endpoint that didn't exist before, and the only way it'll get subscribed is if I use this Java code. So I'm going to basically just copy and paste this just for now, just to make sure it works. We'll call this refresh, whatever, 2, okay? And we're gonna deploy that, make sure it's deployed. That'll take a few minutes. Once it's deployed, once it's deployed, we'll then run the Java code to see if we can register this endpoint. Refresh 2. Okay, so this is a little fragile, but such is life. I just want to make sure that we're successfully registering a callback and that we can then get that callback correctly on our service. So if we know it's being registered, then what? Then we should be able to go to youtube.com, update a video, like change the description, add a hashtag or something like that. That'll trigger the webhook, and then we should see that here. Right? Right. That sounds about right. Let's just go with that. What could go wrong? Although, I forgot. Wait, Maven clean. Gradle build. Let's just make sure this actually compiles and tests correctly. Okay. And in the meantime, while that's doing that, have you all seen Manifold? That thing is some sorcery. Let's go take a look at that. So we were talking about Lombok earlier for those of you who are just joining, but Manifold is something else, my friend. That is absolutely crazy code. So let's just go here, start.spring.io, Manifold for the win. Okay, so this is like, your next programming language isn't Java or Kotlin. It's gonna be Manifold, right? Like this is nutty. Okay, so cd downloads uao manifold.zip. Okay, Manifold. Actually, I have a video I'm working on this one. Repositories. Build.gradle. So you add this here. What's the current version? Manifold Gradle plugin. I don't think it all that much matters. 2.002 alpha. Right, okay, fair. So we'll just leave that there. And then, what about the dependency? Well, it's all this stuff. Okay, reloaded. Oh, right. Maven Central, isn't that already configured? Yeah. Manifold. .1.38. 3.8. No big deal. I got this. I'm going to update to 3.8. Download the internet. Okay, so if the plugin works, then you'll just be blown away by this. This is not normal. I cannot believe you can do this with Java. It borders on the insane what's possible now. I didn't even know this is like I didn't know that JVM had it in it to support this kind of insanity. Okay, so for example, Manifold application. What about, oh yeah, okay, so class foo, private final int meaning of life equals 42, okay? What if I want to get that value? Okay, so I create a bean here, application runner, return new application runner, and I want to use that. Okay, so I say var, I say foo equals new foo, system out foo dot nothing, right? There's no meaning of life. But if I use jailbreak, meaning of life becomes a public field that I can just print out, no problem. And it compiles. It'll actually run and compile. It'll compile and run. Okay, what else? What else can we do with this insanity, right? Like Lombok is good, but this is something else. Okay, named tuple. Name, Josh, age, whatever. No, who cares about that? But you get the idea, right? So okay, system out name tuple, name. So let's just run this. 42 and Josh. Right? Okay, wait, keep going. Oh yeah, just regular anonymous tuples. Okay, anonymous tuples equals 1, 2. System out anonymous tuples. Anonymous tuples. Let's just, right? Okay, great. I've got an item 1 and item 2. They get named. They get names, but it goes forever. It's not just like, it's not like Java where you have like up to arity 8 or whatever for a function. It'll just keep, as long as you keep adding elements, it'll synthesize fields, and I can print out those fields. I can say, okay, anonymous tuple dot item 1, anonymous tuple dot item 2, right? It's crazy. Okay, so what else do we got? Oh, what about speed? Okay, like, or units. So, what is the length? If I'm going 2 kilometers 4 different times, how many kilometers have I gone? Well, turns out I have gone it turns out I have gone 8 kilometers. Okay. What else? Oh, collections, ranges, just like in Kotlin, right? So 1, so it's 2 to 5. Well, it would be if I could get this. Or it was 2 to 5. Let me see. Collections, seems like it's happy. That's different. That broke somehow. Okay, moving on. Properties. Oh yeah, Kotlin dereferencing. So let's say I have record person, and it in turn takes an address. So string street, and this takes an address. Okay. So now I've got a person which has an address. I can just dereference it. Address.street. I don't have to call dot. I don't have to call address, dot address dot street, etc. I can. I just don't need to. Okay. So 1, 2 string 1, 2, 3 string street spring street. What about this? Oh, I can do operator overloading. Var a equals new big decimal 1 b 5 a plus b. And it's 6. Okay. What about? Oh, you can also create your own operator overloading. Okay, so class cart, private final set line items, new hash set, right? And then record line item string skew, whatever, and float price, something like that. Okay, so I can do public cart add, I think, line item. So so what am I doing? I'm saying this dot items dot add line item, return this, and then you could recompute the price, for example, instead of, you could have it dynamic, right? Okay, so let's try using that. So go here, new cart, and then I can do cart plus new line item is 10 whatever var, is that right? Oh, plus equals. All right, that way. So line item what's the issue I have here? Where's my cart? There's line item. Okay. Public cart plus. It's called plus, right? That's what I did. Oh, it's called plus. Sorry. There you go. So now I've got a cart. I can add line items to it, right? Okay. So now let's say my cart object here, private whatever, volatile float total, right, equals 0, and then this dot total equals line item dot price. Okay, so I can print out float total, return this dot total. Okay, I go over here, system out cart dot total. So we're expecting 30, and there it is, right? Like, I can do operator overloading. That's so cool. How much nicer would your APIs be if you could do operator overloading without the risks of pointer arithmetic? That's what people are worried about, is C++ pointer arithmetic. But if you could do that, without the guilt, and you can in Kotlin, by the way. This is a Kotlin thing. You can totally do this in Kotlin and in Scala and in Python and in basically, and in C#. It's like, it's inarguable that you can do operator overloading effectively and safely, and people aren't going to hurt themselves, and yet we still can't do it in Java, and it just seems so well done here in Manifold. What else can you do that's ridiculous, right? Like, let's see. Oh, you can do extension functions? Neat. I forgot about that. Okay, so var my array list equals new array list string, right? And then I want to create an extension function. So this part was a little weird for me. Let me see. Go back here. Extensions, Java util array list. So I create a manifold. Extensions, and then a direct package in there. Java util array list, and then create a class in there called my array list extensions, right? And yeah, just add extension, and then have this method here. So you can declare a pointer to this, the thing on which the extension function is operating, right? And you can inject it there. So I'm creating a new custom array list method. Okay, my array list dot my, what is it? What did I call it? My array list method. Oh, I must have done something wrong. Extension. Did I have to do something else? Extensions. So it's extensions. Manifold for the win. Extensions. Java util array list. And let's see here. I forgot how you're supposed to register the extension, but you can make that work. I forget how you do that. But there's also other stuff that's even crazier. Like this is an example here. Source main resources data, and then this is a user.json. Okay, so just a JSON file, right? Nothing special. Although I would like to see it raw. Here we go, raw. Oh, that is raw. Okay, go in there. Command A, Command C. So source main resources data user.json. Let's go back here. Source main resources data user.json. Paste that all in there. And did this one work? I'm not even sure if I got this one working. So what now? Manifold JSON parsing. Oh yeah, I love my t-shirt. Let's see, this is there you go. Manifold JSON, come on. Here we go. So user builder blah blah blah. So can I do that? Let's try that. So var user builder. Now how did that work? Wait. So resources com example schema. Okay, so it's source main resources com example. So it's just data dot. Do I have to add a dependency? This is where I like I could I think I even have it here. Do I? Annotation processor. It's JSON RT. What's the dependency? So the one thing that could be a little easier is the dependencies here. User. Do I have to like compile something? I don't know. You get the idea, my friends. This is like sorcery. This manifold stuff. It's pure craziness. So let me try creating a directory structure that matches my packages. So com example manifold for the win. Okay. Put that in there. What about, can I use it now? User. No, doesn't look like I can. Whatever. I'll leave it to you to like explore further. But yeah, as you can see, there's some amazing possibilities. There's a preprocessor. There's like, you can automatically turn JSON and GraphQL and all that stuff into types that it has a builder, so you can create it, right? Imagine using Java code and just having GraphQL queries, or other way around. Imagine having GraphQL queries and then being able to just automatically type safely, construct Java objects. There's no code generation. It just works. You just start typing, and those types exist in your type system now. It's an amazing little project. Like Lombok is interesting, but this is insane. And this is Java. I didn't do anything to Java itself. This is just Java 17 on my class path. It just works. I mean, sort of. Okay, let's go back to this. I am curious to see if we actually made progress in this. So, first things first. Is the service deployed? Looks happy. GitHub.com, Coffee Software Show. Go here to repositories, Coffee Software, YouTube service. Yeah, the project is crazy. Okay, so YouTube promotion. Did that work? What did we say we're going to do? We said we're going to call the Java code locally. Okay, and we're going to register refresh 2. So that's this endpoint here. And that'll get called. And when that gets called, we should see refresh 2 committed on the command line. So we're going to run this test, refresh 2. Okay, so this is the only time anybody's ever registered this URL with that, that hub. Hopefully none of you did that. Okay, I ran the test. So it looks like it ran. It's deceitful though. I don't know if it actually did anything useful. So we'll find out, because now if I make a change to a video, eventually that endpoint on the server, refresh 2. Hey, it worked. Something happened. So yeah, that's the hub challenge. So that looks like it registered. Does it actually work? Like if I start going to YouTube and making changes, will I see logs from that endpoint? Okay, your channel, videos, whatever. Let's see here. Live. I'm going to edit the video that we're in right now. Live. Meta. Spring Boot. YouTube longs. Because it's definitely not a short. It's the opposite of a short. So I'm going to call that longs. And also, my last name. Okay, so if I update that, Google Cloud PubSubHubbub and notifications, save. So in theory, if I do nothing for a little bit, it did it. Look at that. So I made a change on the YouTube, and I got that exception, which I told you earlier is not a big deal. Did it work? It worked. Look at that. Haha. So that's it, my friends. That actually worked. I mean, it's inelegant as can be, but it does work. So I was able to write Java code to successfully register that endpoint. So now the question then is, for how long? Like, what did I say? If I go here, what did I say? I said for 120 seconds, which is a bit long. So if I were to wait 2 minutes, and then make a change to the YouTube video, my expectation would be that nothing will happen, right? So set alarm for 2 minutes.
Done.
Okay, so if I wait 2 minutes and then then I'll try making a change to the YouTube videos that would trigger a webhook, but according to the API, I'm not subscribed, so therefore I shouldn't get a webhook, right? I shouldn't get a notification. And as long as that's true, then I can fix it. I can just set up the lease in seconds to be like every 30 minutes, and then I'll just have a scheduled cron thing that re-registers itself every 30 minutes or whatever, you know. Yeah, that seems. So let's see. PubSub. Not really gonna. Let's see if I go here. Trying to figure out, like the docs are. This is surprisingly readable. This is the whole spec, yeah, for 0.4 from 2014, so 9 years ago. It's got Brad Fitzpatrick, who some of you will probably know. But yeah, that's the entire thing, right there. That, you know, quick little spec, up and down, easy. So you go down, and high level flow. A subscriber sends a subscription request that has the lease in seconds, optional. There it is. So I'll snooze just another few more minutes. Yeah. Okay. So, least seconds. It looks like it's not even. It might even be optional. It might even be like I don't have control over this in the first place. I mean, that's what I want. You know, like it'd be nice if I didn't have to reset this. That's ridiculous. I like having to tell Google to continue. Unless I opt out, you know, I don't know why I would like throw away my subscription. Like imagine you connect to Kafka, but then you have to reconnect like every 5 minutes or whatever. You know, that seems dumb. Okay, so it's been more than 2 minutes since I made that subscription, and the lease was only for 2 minutes. So in theory, if we go to our channel here, go to, let's say, live, modify this. Let's logs, need to promote. I would expect that it stays connected too, right? But what if it doesn't? And that's really very tedious. So let's see, okay, why Google, why? Okay, so wait, where did it go? Browser, come back. All is forgiven. Hit save. So now it's let's see what it logs out. Who knows? Give it it took a minute last time. It's not, contrary to the what is advertised, it's not actually real time. Like you don't get the notification immediately, which is a bit of a bummer because it makes testing a little bit more fraught. You don't know if it's failed or if it's just a delay. But if we give it a couple minutes still, and we still haven't seen the callback, then, you know, we'll assume it's invalidated the lease, which is good. Yeah, I wish we could. I don't know how to get a list of subscribers. It doesn't give me anything. I don't even know what is there an API? You can call it. You can ask the hub for the topic. You can show the topic information, but that's sort of a by the time you already have, in order to ask the question about giving, the details of the topic. Oh yeah, I see you changed your name. Good night, Thomas. Thanks for joining the stream today. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that doesn't seem to be kicking in. So that's good. That's actually a good thing, because that means we can deal with that, right? I can say, okay, if I don't set the least, it's not going to be least, right? Okay. So I wonder what the max is. So for now, easy enough fix, right? Like, let's just take this and this. Okay, so get rid of that. We don't need this anymore. And I'll call it reset. Okay. I don't know if it's the only way. It's when I Googled YouTube data API notifications, and it gave me PubSubHubbub as the response. So, but so far it works. It's just I don't trust it yet. Once I've built code around it that I know will do its thing in a repeatable way, then I'll feel better. Okay, so I've got this endpoint called reset. We're going to register the subscriber, and we're going to do that here. Where are we? Event listener configuration. Whoa, what was that? Spoke too soon. Who did that? Webhook update. Did I do that? I didn't do that. YouTube video feed. Video ID. Wait, what? I don't even remember changing that one. Did I? What was the event? What just happened? Did you see that? That was bizarre. Did you see me change that video? The one related to dependencies? I don't think I did. Well, okay. Either it doesn't require the lease to be updated, but it doesn't care if you resubmit, or it does require the lease to be updated, and so either way we should just do it, right? We should just set up a recurring thing to update the lease. So my scheduled executor service here is call that 2 threads now. So when the application kicks off, we'll publish a YouTube channel updated event to reset everything once. And then we'll schedule a thread. So this we don't need anymore. This we can get rid of, but we do want to have something else instead. What we want to do is to resubmit the lease, right? Okay, so let's do that here. Where's my PubSub client? Class PubSubHubbub client configuration at configuration PubSubHubbub client PubSubHubbub bean turn new PubSubHubbub client and the web client web client builder. Okay, .build and web client HTTP, and then what do we want? We want the URL, so that's this thing right here. This method's going to be useful. I can feel it already. So add that. Okay. And then that. Good. Now what? So I've got the client. Now I want to make sure that I schedule a subscription, right? So I need to do the subscription here. Realistically, okay. Private final. Equals, and then we don't need it here, and we don't need it down there, and okay. Actually, I'm not even sure if I need that other one there, just while I'm at it. I don't need that at all. Good. Okay, and then what do I want to do? So what I want to do is that every hour, right? So I'll say var lease equals 60 seconds times 60 minutes. Okay, so times 2. Okay, so I'll do, you know, I don't want to miss anything. So I think it's more useful to re-up my subscription like every hour and let the lease be every 2 hours, right? And I can't imagine they're going to call the same endpoint for the same event more than once, even if I have overlapping subscriptions, right? Why would they? That would be bizarre. So, and even if they do, I don't care. I'm actually happy to reprocess twice. There's a plugin so I can see Twitch chat in a panel. That's amazing. Wow. Oh wow. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. That's pretty cool. But can it do YouTube chat as well? That's the only other question I have. Okay. So let's see. So I'll use the client that we built. it's got to be a bean. Application listener. Application ready event. Return new application listener. Application ready event. All right, so now we use that executor service here. And then we use the client, so this thing. We say PubSub client.subscribe, and the topic and the callback URL are thus. I'm going to call this reset. I assume. Reset, yeah, okay. So it's going to be called reset. So topic URL, callback URL, verify async, and then the lease in seconds. And then verify token is null, right? So then subscribe, updated, or subscribed, right? So to this, okay, and private void subscribe. So we want this business to be in here, given a PubSub client and a URL topic URL and a URL callback URL and a long int lease in seconds. All right, and the reason we want that twice, extracted out, is so that I can do topic URL, callback URL, and lease in seconds. And then yeah, let's see here. So when the application starts up, we'll schedule it for every 2 hours. No, every hour, and it'll register a lease for an hour. But we also want to do this when the application starts up as well. So we don't want to wait 2 hours. Well, as soon as it starts up, we want to make sure that we register like that. Okay, so I'll do this dot whatever. This dot. Okay, let's try this out. So we'll just yeah, let's try it. So Gradle, we'll just do dot save. Okay. Oops, this test no longer works. So, ignore. I guess I can just comment out the test annotation. Well, I think that's it. I think it might be a little clumsy, but it will work. That's all that I can ask for, I guess, at this point. So, and it still beats me having to manually pull the YouTube API, right, to get the data. So I'd rather have this than the alternative. But I think that's it for now, friends. And I think this is a good place to leave it for the evening. Maybe I'll come back to it later. I don't know. But it's functionally the only thing that remains is to integrate Twitter, right? I need to actually like tweet, right? That's the whole point of this. It's just there's 2 points. One is to make sure that works, which it does, and then I could you know what I could do? I could put some links up there, like it's some how to reach me, whatever, the Twitter handle, the YouTube. Like there's no link here. You can click on the videos, but there's no link up here. I just noticed to the actual YouTube site. So I'll put all that stuff there. But basically, they're just Twitter plus this, and I think we're good. I think this is a pretty simple but working application. Hopefully, people got something out of the journey. We're not quite done. Like I said, we've got a few more things to do. But I really enjoyed this process. Like it's just so easy to use Spring these days to build interesting things very quickly, right? Like my issue that the complexity I've had here isn't with Java. It's more with building distributed systems. I'm working with online web services, working with data, on the internet. So it's been fun. All right, my friends, thanks for joining me. Let's hang out later. We'll pick it up a little bit later. Either way, have a great night.